What is going on, YouTube? I am Germ here. As you guys can see up on the screen today, I want to talk a little bit about Sofi Technologies Incorporated. This is ticker symbol SOFI or Sofi, for those of you who are maybe not as familiar with this stock or with this company. And today, obviously, was not the best day in the world for Sofi. They were down 1.49% on the day, down another 0.34% after hours. We'll see what this means going into tomorrow and into the rest of the week. But this definitely wasn't the worst day in Sofi stock history as well. You know, this stock has been doing a little bit better as of late, actually up 0.51% in the past 5 days, but year to date down 62.05%. So, you know, we've seen a lot of down 1.5% days so far in 2022, and we've seen a lot worse as well. When we take a look at the rest of the broader market, Dow Jones down 0.67%, S&P down a little bit less than 0.5%, NASDAQ closer to flat, and the Russell closer to flat as well, but everything in the red. So not a shock that SoFi is down. Yes, SoFi is underperforming the market to the downside today, obviously. So that's not necessarily a great sign or great news. But again, when everything's down, some individual stocks, especially the more volatile ones, especially the unprofitable ones, especially the more growth-oriented ones, are oftentimes going to get hit harder. And that's obviously what we've seen a lot throughout 2022. But we do still have plenty of SoFi news to talk about today. And there actually is some really, really big news that came out, I guess, yesterday. But obviously, I didn't make a video about SoFi yesterday, so this will be our opportunity to talk about it. We do have this article from investorplace.com. They talk about why SoFi Technologies stock should make a comeback soon. They say that SoFi stock could rise 47% more if its book value grows 5% each quarter on a compounding basis. They say that SoFi is likely to report a higher book value for quarter two over quarter one and last year. Obviously, would be great news if that does happen. This will act as a catalyst pushing SoFi stock higher, even if the price to book value multiple, presently at 1.05 times, stays level or falls below 1x. Moreover, if the market continues to see high growth in book value and membership numbers, it will raise the price tangible book value per share multiple and the target price to 8.83 per share, 37% higher than today. So not only are they saying that SoFi could make a comeback soon, they're backing it up with some evidence, some reasoning. You know, that stuff is always good to see. Doesn't necessarily mean that you need to flood into SoFi right now. Doesn't necessarily mean that it's a great purchase or a great buy, but maybe it could be the start of, you know, your own due diligence or your own research or whatever. And there are at least some people out there that are saying, hey, maybe SoFi is worth taking an extra look at right now. Maybe they're worth diving into, checking out the numbers for yourself, and maybe some of these numbers or maybe some of these kind of explanations resonate with you or somewhat, and maybe you can look into them a little bit further. But I just thought this was interesting. Again, for a stock that's down, you know, whatever we said, 62% year to date, that there is some people saying, hey, maybe now's the time to buy. Maybe SoFi has an interesting future ahead of it, not only as a company, but also as a stock as well. So kind of some good news there, especially on a day where the stock is down. We also have this coming from the SoFi stock subreddit. This is definitely the biggest news that came out yesterday from the SoFi shareholders meeting. SoFi shareholders have approved all 5 of these items. And if you've been following SoFi for a little while, like I have been, you know, it's been 7 or 8 months at this point where I've been making SoFi stock videos, maybe even a little bit longer than that. We knew that this day was coming, but we didn't know how it was going to pan out. This is what the SoFi shareholders have approved of. Number 1, they've approved the election of directors. You know, nothing too shocking or surprising there. Advisory vote on the frequency of stockholder advisory votes on the executive compensation of named executive officers. You know, whatever. 3, ratification of Deloitte and Touche, I don't know, LP as our independent registered public accounting firm for the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2022. Again, largely another nothing burger for most people. Approval of the amended and restated 2021 stock option and incentive plan for SoFi Technologies. Could potentially be a big one. But the one that's going to get all the headlines, the one that's going to get all the talk, the one that's going to get all the people riled up on social media, YouTube, Reddit, all over the place, Twitter, is going to be this 5th and final one. Number 5, approval of an amendment to the SoFi Technologies Incorporated Certificate of Incorporation to grant the board of directors discretionary authority to effect a reverse stock split. Now, this does not mean that the company is going to be doing a reverse stock split. It just means that the board of directors now has the ability to do a reverse stock split. I believe it's for some, I believe it's not permanent. I believe it's just for a period of time. I could be wrong about that, but I'm pretty sure that is accurate. I haven't looked at this stuff for a couple of weeks at this point, but We've talked about it a lot on the channel before. I'm sure you can find it in some of my older videos, or just find it by Googling or whatever. It just gives them the ability to be able to reverse stock split if they do so see fit. They've talked about some reasons why they could potentially want to reverse stock split. Obviously, as the stock price continues to fall, who knows if it's going to fall lower, especially if we go into a depression, recession, whatever. Stock's at $5.95 right now. They're risking getting into penny stock type area. They're risking, if they aren't already, being in the range of too volatile, too risky, too small for many like institutional investors and funds and stuff to want to put any money into. They just think it's a big risk to let the stock price fall any further. Now, at the end of the day, the reverse stock split, shouldn't really matter too much. Obviously, a reverse stock split doesn't affect the fundamentals of the company. It shouldn't change a whole lot on the performance of the stock or anything like that overall. Now, obviously, there's a negative connotation around reverse stock splits because the numbers tell you that after you reverse stock split, the company does pretty poorly. The stock price underperforms the market going forward. And is it the chicken or the egg? Do failing, dying companies reverse split and that's why their stock does bad, or does stock splitting make your stock perform bad? It seems more likely that bad companies reverse stock split and that's why they underperform. It doesn't really seem to make logical sense that the actual reverse stock split is what is bad news. So at the end of the day, don't really think this is a big deal, but there are definitely a lot of people mad and upset out there. People like this on Twitter saying don't reverse splits usually indicate trouble for that company. I've held stock in 2 companies that later did a reverse split and ended up bad, lost money bigly. And this guy says, yes, but it's correlation. All bad companies reverse split. Not all reverse splits are from bad companies. And I think that is a very, very key point to note here. Who knows how it's going to play out? Who knows if SoFi is going to end up being one of these bad companies that does reverse split and does underperform? But we are in a time right now where a lot of companies are getting hit hard. We have not been through a bear market. We've not been through a downward stock cycle in quite some time. We're kind of in some uncharted territory for a lot of people out there, especially younger people who haven't gone through all this stuff. So we're going to see how some of these companies react to, depression, recession, stocks being down huge, year to date being down huge over time, and then how they rebound. So I don't think as long as SoFi is a good company going forward, as long as they become profitable, start generating cash flows, consistent cash flows, showing growth in their cash flows, in their profits, in their revenue, and in their user base and all that stuff, and keep offering, industry leading financial services and all that type of stuff, I think it's going to be fine. I don't think a reverse stock split is going to stop SoFi, the company, or the stock from performing well. I think the things they do are going to, have an impact on some of that. So we'll have to wait and see. But there is the possibility of a reverse stock split in SoFi's future now. Some people on the subreddit talking about how they believe SoFi is set to soar. It's been tough sledding in 2022, despite executing on all fronts, including securing a bank charter, growing deposits at over $100 million per week, and growing, lending off their own balance sheet at lowest rates on market, offering industry-leading interest rates. SoFi has been struggling. So, they're just kind of saying that, you got to watch out. Patient investors will be rewarded. I don't know if this is a meme or a copy pasta or what, but it is kind of funny. But yes, SoFi has done a lot of good things in 2022. Obviously, the stock price has not reflected that, but that doesn't mean, that some of the rewards will not be reaped going forward in the future. We'll have to wait and see. This guy talking about selling puts on SoFi. Seems like low fives are strong for SoFi. Sure, bears want to bears want China to go to Taiwan and there's World War III so they can short to death, but all in reality, SoFi at 202 selling puts is epic to me. Selling puts can be an interesting way to, potentially lower your cost basis. If you're going to be buying SoFi at some of these lower prices anyway, maybe you can make a little money over time. Obviously, from what we found out over the past 7-8 months is that selling puts can be dangerous as well. I mean, if you're planning on holding this thing for 5-10 years, obviously who cares? And you're planning on buying more shares anyway, who cares? But as soon as you're ready to say like, oh, it can't go below this number, oh, this seems like a lock, this, selling this put or that put is free money, the market tends to humble people as of late, and it'll just rip through some of those prices. So if you're going to sell puts, you might make a little extra money, but definitely be ready, willing, and able to buy up those shares as well when you're, when you get order to buy those shares once you're below your put price, obviously. And then, this is just kind of following up on what we talked about earlier. 2022 annual meeting of stockholders was July 12th. It was yesterday. Everything that came out from that was obviously really, really big news. And now the next big story around the corner is going to be whether or not the board of directors, with this newfound power of being able to enact a reverse stock split, is actually going to act on it or not. how the community reacts, how shareholders react, and how the stock price reacts in both, or I guess in all of the short, medium, and long term. But we're going to have to wait and see to find out what happens with that. Pretty much it for this video today, guys. Let me drop a like if you did enjoy it. I would appreciate that so much. Leave a comment down below. Let me know what you think about SOFI. I'd love to hear your guys' thoughts and opinions. Subscribe, stay up to date on all my latest content. Hope we catch you guys on the next one. But until then, peace.